The workplaces of Ontario and the kinds of work Ontarians do have changed a lot over the past 30 years. As a result, the current process for setting premium rates, which is primarily based on an outdated scheme of classifying businesses, has become outdated too. The current system establishes a premium rate that is based on the costs of all employers in similar types of business, but does not reflect the impact of individual employers and their claims histories. Just because companies do similar things doesn't mean they have the same safety record or level of risk. And that's not all. Our system of compensating injured workers in Ontario has been around for 100 years and needs to be sustainable decades from now. The WSIB has to cover not only new claims costs, but also the costs of claims going back prior to the 1970s, as well as the costs of all the claims expected to be in the system well into the future. We have to make sure we collect enough money to cover all our costs, and we have to make sure we collect that money in a way that fairly shares the cost across all employers in the system. To modernize our rate-setting system, the WSIB has developed a preliminary rate framework that makes it easier for you to see how you've been classified, what you will be charged, and why. Our preliminary premium rate framework has new streamlined and simpler classification structure that is clear and consistent in its application as a foundation. It has an approach that ensures a fair premium for workplace coverage based on a company's actual risk and claims experience. Reasonably considers premium rate stability, ensuring responsiveness to employer risk and claims experience, and a rate framework that employers can more easily understand. In the past, we've classified businesses using a system called the Standard Industry Classification, or SIC. But that system was developed in the 80s, and a lot has changed since then. To compete in today's global economy, companies must be more flexible and responsive to their customers' needs. This could be in their production processes and the end products, often filling orders from clients ranging from motor vehicle manufacturers to large home retail outlets. This could mean a switch in production from, say, brake pads to barbecue grills. On top of that, the SIC system did not anticipate the internet or any of its related activities, such as electronic retailing, VoIP communication services, telephone resellers, and more. Going forward, we want to adopt the newer North American Industry Classification System, or NAICS, used by North American government agencies to classify employers based on the kind of work they do. It's intended to create a structure that is simple and understandable. The proposed new structure recognizes certain industry groupings that are similar to the current structure, such as manufacturing, construction, and transportation and warehousing. However, it would also group industries into new, separate categories, like information and cultural industries and professional, scientific, and technical services. Here's how this new system would work. First, we classify your business by looking at the nature of the work your company does. We determine your predominant business activity, the work that makes up the bulk of your company's operations. For example, if you run a construction company that does high-rise and residential work, you'll need to determine which of these activities takes up the most time and resources. Using 20 to 25 categories, we decide which one fits your business best. Classifying employers this way will be simple and less complicated compared to the current classification process that has over 150 rate groups. Once your classification has been established, the WSIB determines the actual premium rate you would pay. To do so, they look at two main factors: your risk profile and credibility. An employer's risk profile is determined by looking at an employer's claims costs and their insurable earnings. And an employer's credibility looks at an employer's insurable earnings and total number of claims. In other words, the WSIB will look at an employer's risk profile and credibility to determine the extent to which their premium rate should be affected by their claims history. Once your risk profile and credibility are determined, the WSIB compares your safety performance against the average of all the other employers in the same class. Now we can accurately calculate your premium. The preliminary rate framework recommends abandoning the 3 experience rating programs and replacing these programs with a prospective risk-adjusted premium rate setting approach that applies to all employers. This prospective approach means your premium takes into account your claims experience when it's established, so you won't need to wait to know if you will receive a rebate or a surcharge based on previous year's claims history. In summary, the goal of the preliminary rate framework is to provide a new, streamlined, and simpler classification structure, an approach that ensures a fair premium rate, and that strikes a balance between rate responsiveness and premium rate stability for workplace coverage, plus a system that stakeholders can easily understand. We want you to know the WSIB actively promotes and is committed to meaningful stakeholder engagement. We believe that unique and varied perspectives on issues like rate framework reform are vital to our decision-making processes. That's why we are reaching out to hear from you. Visit us at wsib.on.ca to find out how your views can be heard.